Hello everybody, this is Petey from BurgZerg Arcade at BurgZergArcade.net, and here we are once again with another episode, I guess, in the item series code along. This is number 19, I believe. Could be 20. I think it's 19. It doesn't matter. Today we're going to go ahead and solve the problem with the way it copies here. So when we click here, we're making a copy. We notice that it's still connected to the database. So we're getting that reference to the item in the database, but we don't really want to copy by reference. We want to copy by value. And there's a few ways to do it, and I really don't want to get into a huge discussion about shallow copies and deep copies, because quite honestly, most of the people that follow my little code alongs here have absolutely no idea what those mean. So what we're going to do is actually go ahead and create a method to basically pass in the values that we want. I don't want to get into memory streams and everything else. I want to keep it very simple. So we're going to create a constructor for weapon. Quite similar to the ones we already have. We want an overloaded one. So here's our basic one. And equipment slot, I stated before that I actually wanted to move the equipment slot to the inventory system. And I think now is actually when I'm going to do that. I'm just going to comment it out up here. This is the one that refers to the actual class that we made, which means we actually have to come through and change some of this. Get rid of this. Let's see. This. Let's go ahead and just actually take it right out. Now this is going to change to just a regular equipment slot. And I'm not going to pass it in this way. My overloaded constructor, I'm going to go ahead and set up to be taking in an IS weapon. And I'm just going to call it item. We'll be a little more descriptive. We'll call it weapon. And I'm just going to work down through the class. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, we're not going to be able to use that because it's a made-up name. So we'll say weapon dot. I want to go ahead and grab the durability from the one that we're being passed in. Same thing for the max durability, the equipment slot. And now we're going to go through and take a few more of these out. Before we do the equipment slot, let's go ahead and clean that up. And it's pretty easy. Just look for the bright pink. So this here is going to be gone. I think that's it, right? I'm going to quickly comment this line out. And the next one, just so I can do a save. Not sure how it updates, if I have to save before it updates or not. But now we only have the one equipment slot, which is the public one that we made up top here for our enum. That's the only one we want. And of course here we're going to grab the weapon.prefab. And we still need a way to call the base. And actually now that I think about it, I don't even want to do it this way. What I want to create is a, let's see, do we want a public? Let's create a public for it. It's not going to return anything. And I'm going to call it clone. And this is actually going to take a weapon in as well. And of course, we'll pass in just the variable name for weapon. Let me use the name clone. I haven't used it already, have I? I have not. Closed. This here is still pink. You can't find the equipment slot name right here. Did I spell it wrong? EQ. Yes, I did. That's probably why. There we go. Now it's spelled right. Of course, if you're changing a variable, make sure to always use the refactor. There we go. Now we'll come down here. Create the public void clone, which takes in an IS weapon, which we will just call weapon. And this is actually what's going to go in there. And up here, I am just going to call clone and pass the weapon that I got. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way here is now we have two ways to actually copy one weapon to the other. One will go ahead and when we're actually creating the IS weapon, we can pass in what we want to copy right away. And another way is if we already have the weapon created and we just want to clone the values over then. So it's just a little bit more flexible this way. Now we do need a way to pass it off to the base. It's clone method. So I'm going to come down to, I guess we're going to need an override. Well, let's see if we can do it without it. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. Public. Does not return anything. Clone. And I keep doing that. We'll copy that off. So we're going to need, what's it pass again? It's going to be an IS object. And I'll just call this one item. And the first thing we want to do is take the name. That's going to be equal to item.name. So we're going to go ahead and take all of these values and assign them, basically. All right, so I've gone ahead and assigned all the values from what's being passed into what we want. And I'm going to go ahead and make an overloaded constructor here as well. That takes in an IS object, which I'm just going to call item. And again, I'm just going to call clone and pass in the item. And I'll come back into weapon. And let's call the base, which means the class that this is derived from. I'm going to call its clone. And I'm going to go ahead and pass in the weapon. I think this should work. The benefits of watching a code along. You can see all the stupid things I try. All right, so we're going to come back in. No errors. Let's come back into the list view where we're actually clicking the button. So instead of just assigning it like this here, I'm actually going to come in and say temp weapon. Now we got two ways we can do this. We can say equal to new IS weapon and then pass this in like this. Or we can do it in two steps where we say it's equal to a new weapon, then call that clone function itself. So temp weapon dot clone. They work the exact same, difference being one has the extra line in it where you define the weapon and then send in what you want to be cloned. So I guess it's a little more, if you want the two steps, if you need the extra two steps, by all means do it. I'm going to use just the one step for now. So let's go try this out, see if it works. And it's actually one thing that was annoying me, that extra space. All right, so we're going to come in, let it recompile. Does not seem to be any errors. Go ahead, we'll click on long swords. Let's get rid of that S. And let's go ahead and add some values. So 10, 20, the icon, make it a square. We'll go ahead, we'll save. And of course it updated properly and it's saving all the values into the database for us. So let's go ahead and make another D. All right, so we have that copy by reference and copy by value thing sorted. Not the, like I said before, not the most elegant way to do it, but it's probably the easiest way for the people following along to understand how it works. If you want to look for a more, I guess, robust option, you can go ahead and look for extension methods. Take a look for, well, just search for deep copy versus shallow copy for C# on Google and you should be able to find it. Let's go ahead and get rid of this as well now. So that's in the actual display view. The details. Now, I know later on I will cover stuff like deep copy versus shallow copy, but not in this series. Let's see. So we're actually doing it in the first one up here. Right here, state. Everything looks good. What else do we have? I think that's it, really. Oh, we need a way to delete. So let's go ahead and add that button now. So a delete button down here. That comes back into the details. Come down to the bottom. So we have our save and our cancel. And I guess we can just go ahead and stick it in the middle. But I'm going to want to check to see what state we're in. And that's from the state machine. And our variable is state. So state is equal to, it was display state dot details, meaning I'm editing. And we probably, again, should make this more descriptive. This really should be like edit details. Even better yet, it should be edit weapon details. Simply because this is, what we're doing. And when we get into adding armor and stuff like that, we are going to want to change it. But let's get this working first before we start worrying about changing something else. So if we are actually in the edit details, that means we got to show that weapon or show the delete button. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Actually, let's copy the one that copies or that saves. Go ahead, copy that, paste it in here. And we'll go through. So if the selected index is -1, meaning that this is a new item, then we shouldn't actually display this. So we could add that up here as another condition. Another thing we could do is actually just have it look for this. If it's a new item, well, then we're going to have delete, right? So instead of looking at the state, let's go ahead and look at that instead. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead, and if it's not -1, I guess is what we should say. We'll go ahead and delete. So we're going to remove. And the options we have for remove, we have 2 of them, one by index, one by item. We'll just go by index. And of course, in this line, we'll set this to false, set the temp weapon to null. Be sure to set the index and the display state. All right, I'm going to keep all of the flags flipping all at the same time. This should be okay. Let's go. We'll try this out as long as there's no errors. Now when I click long sword, it just deletes it. And we actually have to make the button for it too. Now let's go and take a look here. I think it actually does just, I think I just did straight up delete from the database. Yeah. All right, we actually have to make the button and make sure that they click the button. So this is when I'm clicking the save button. This is my mistake. I went and put the code in the save button, which is not what I wanted. Oh wait, no, it's outside of the save. I forgot to actually put the button itself. Duh. These early mornings, I tell you. Go ahead, stick this inside of a button. We'll call this delete. So we're gonna, when we click the delete button, we'll take, oh wait, we don't want the delete button to show up. So this actually has to be on the outside. So if the index is not -1, then we'll show the delete button. If they click the delete button, go ahead, delete the actual item, set the flags, and that's it. We do want to have a little pop-up as well, a modal window. I think we've covered that, right? Did we cover? Well, if not, we're going to cover it. Let's go ahead. We'll save that off. We'll go ahead, click club. Now we have our delete button. If we click it, club's gone. We have knife. Change it to knife Z. Hit save. It updated. Let's go change it to knife. Take out the Z. Hit cancel. It did not save it. Great. Let's hit cancel. Let's create a new. Well, it's going to annoy me if it's spelled like that. We still have to fix the focus, but this one's already running long, so we'll do that in the next video. We're going to hit save. There we go. Save. Let's go ahead. We'll create a new one. And I don't remember what the other one was called. It was club, right? It was club we deleted? And longsword? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's say this is a really expensive club. And it weighs a lot too. Made of something special. You know what it's made of? It's made of check marks. But we'll save it. Go ahead, highlight it, and everything's saved. All right, so we've got the ability to delete stuff out of the database now. We do have to put that modal pop-up, and we still have to take care of focus. Switching the focus when we close this window so that when we come back, the same item doesn't have focus. And we still have to basically gray these out or disable them somehow. And there's lots of ways we can do it. I'm actually thinking about just having it just disappear. This whole pane disappear while this one's open. That would probably be the best way to do it. It would probably be the easiest way to do it. Of course, there's all these little funny animation things you can do and everything else. I think it'd just be better if you click this whole pane disappears. You have this one until you're done. When you click it, then this pane pops back up. But that's it for this one. Quick one. Hopefully you've learned something. We've got a little bit further. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.